lost in overtime against the Patriots in a really tough AFC Championship game, despite the second-year quarterback having 3 touchdown passes in the second half. We caught up with the likely NFL MVP earlier today. We'll talk about a quick turnaround. I don't think there's anyone here who had a quicker turnaround than Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes. You know, you have a tough loss at home in Kansas City, on the line, a chance to play again. Come up short, and you're here a day or two later. Why was it important for you, Patrick, to make this trip?
Yeah, it was very important for me, just because it was my first one, my first Pro Bowl. It's a tremendous honor. Like you said, I mean, it was a tough loss. I was wishing we would be prepping for the Super Bowl right now, but things happen for a reason. You have to learn from those things, and I'm going to enjoy this week with a couple of my teammates out here and try to enjoy just being out in the Pro Bowl.
Well, I know there's a mutual respect between you and Tom Brady with that AFC Championship game. Afterwards, there was a conversation. What was that like? Was it mutual? Was Tom giving you encouragement for the future?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was a little bit of both. I mean, he definitely it was such a great game with so many emotions where it was going back and forth at the end that I felt like he just came up to me and was just kind of saying good game and everything like that. And then he was in my place. He was young. He got to win the Super Bowl in his first year with you and everybody. And so he understands that, I mean, the time, it flies by. Just make sure to put in the work. And I think he saw that I put in the work to be in those situations.
Coming from your rookie season when you had to kind of learn behind Alex Smith and things of that nature, and then now your first year starting to have so much success, what have you learned from that first year of watching and learning and that you applied to this year?
I think the biggest thing I learned was how to be a pro. And it's so different coming from college to the NFL of just how to manage your time. You have so much free time where you have to still be getting your work done and getting that stuff done. And Alex is like the prime example of that. I mean, how he's able to schedule his time to get the most out of every single day. Yeah. And I was blessed that he was such a good human being that he would tell me if he was going to watch film. He would tell me if he was going to the weight room to work out. And it helped me build a plan for myself this last year where I was prepared every single game for every single situation.
Awesome. Patrick, every team has changes in the offseason. The Chiefs will be no exception. They're going to figure some things out with defensive coordinator. What in your mind has to happen for this defense to sort of take the next step and make some progress?
I think it's just everybody getting better. And it's not just the defense. I think as a whole team. You saw in that last game with the Patriots, the offense, we didn't come out and play well in the first half. And it's a team game. You have to play off of each other, and I felt like that kind of set the tempo for the entire game. We battled back at the end, and, I mean, that's what we did the whole entire season. We always fought till the end, but when you play teams like the Patriots, you can't put yourself in the hole like that, and that's stuff that, as a whole team, we got to progress and get better.
Amazing regular season for you, 50 touchdown passes, potential MVP season. I know that's not decided yet. The night before the Super Bowl, it'll be named, but that type of production, all right, 50 touchdown passes. Is it something for analysts, fans of the Kansas City Chiefs to expect that every single year? Is that
no pressure.
Is that your line? Where is
yes.
your line?
My best thing would be I always want to just win football games. I feel like every single year, if we can keep just getting better, we can always be a good team that wins a lot of football teams and goes to the playoffs. And now it's about taking that next step and getting to the Super Bowl and winning it. And the 50 touchdowns and all that stuff, it's awesome. That's really a credit to the teammates making a lot of plays for me. Stuff like that just happens whenever guys around you are making plays. And so as long as I just kind of do my job, I feel like stuff like that will come a little bit. But at the same time, I just want to win. That's the biggest
50,
thing.
You'll do it again.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's not going to give him back.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you said it just right.
But Patrick, we've talked a lot in the media because it's been so interesting to watch your pairing with Andy Reid and often suggested that you landed in a great spot with a great coach for you. What's that been like to work with him?
I mean, it's been amazing. It truly has. I mean, when the Chiefs drafted me, I was as happy as could be. I knew I was going to be under Coach Reid and Coach Bieniemy and all these coaches that we have here. They really challenge me every single day. They don't let me be satisfied with just going out there and throwing maybe 3 touchdowns one week. They want to make sure that next week that I prepare myself in order to not make the little mistakes that I made the week before. And I think that just the way they challenge me every single day has helped me become the quarterback that I became this last year.
All right, Pat, I want to talk off-season. We were talking a little bit off camera how you like to pump some iron in the off-season and things like that. But what else are you doing to stay ready? Where will you be? What's your regimen in the off-season? Talk to us about that a little bit.
Yeah, I'll be in Kansas City for a little bit longer, and then I'll get out to Texas. I train with a guy that I've trained with since I was in 4th grade named Bobby Stroop at APEC, and so that's in Fort Worth. And so, I mean, that's the stuff where I've trained out there, and I'll be back there, and then I'll be a little bit back at home in East Texas. And so I'm just excited to get back home and see the family.
Patrick, nice. a lot of us have also been talking about the way that game ended. That's what happens when it's in overtime with so much on the line. somehow are suggesting a change in overtime rules. We know you didn't get a chance to touch the football in overtime. What's your take on that?
That's way above my pay grade, honestly. I mean,
not soon.
For me, that's just how the game is. I mean, that's the rules. We've known the rules since we've grown up. I mean, it's you go out there, if you win the toss, you score a touchdown, you win the game. I mean, it's that simple. I mean, guys have to make plays on every aspect of the game, special teams, defense, and offense. That's why it's such a great sports team game. And so, I mean, however the rules are, we'll play it like that.
One more for me, it's just your role continued as you progress along your career as a leader. Everyone sees your production and your talent and things like that, and you're young, but as you get into next season and then having to dig yourselves out of a hole, whatever may next season bring, do you embrace your role actually as a leader and developing into one?
Yes, I do, and that was one of the biggest things I talked about with Coach Reid and kind of those after-season meetings. I just want to keep becoming a better leader. I feel like this year I took a huge step, even from the year before and in college, of just learning how to talk to dudes that are a lot older than me, that have done a lot more stuff, and them to be able to respect me. But in order to get that respect, you have to put in the work. And so I think as I keep going in and doing what needs to be done to have success, guys will keep respecting me more and more, and I can keep becoming bigger of a leader on the team.
You may need to put in the work on the golf course. We saw that golf swing of yours on Instagram. Not bad. Of course, you can play baseball, obviously, football, and it didn't look too shabby either.
Yeah, I've tried to get better and better at golf as I've gotten older. My dad was a pitcher, so he played golf when I was young, so I was on the golf course a little bit, and I'm going to keep getting better, so hopefully maybe I'll get the invite to Tahoe at some point and be able to go out there and compete a little bit.
Invite to Tahoe. You want to say it one more time just in case?
Yeah, just the invite.
Invite to Tahoe. Well, Patrick, we certainly appreciate you accepting our invitation to be here this afternoon, and I know it didn't end the way you wanted, but an outstanding season, so congratulations.
Thank you all. I appreciate having me.
Mahomes had a record-setting year by nearly any measure. Third quarterback in NFL history with at least 50 touchdown passes in a season, joining Peyton Manning and Tom Brady. And just like those two, he's expected to win the NFL MVP when the award is announced next Saturday. I'm not sure there are enough accolades or enough things you can say to describe the season he had, guys. And you have to believe, as these folks certainly do who are here, that the future is very bright for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, and the one thing he wanted most for this season he won't get, and that's the championship. And you can tell championships are what this young man's all about. It's what he wants. It's what he wants to attain. And I think that when he referenced that end of season meeting with Andy Reid, how they talked about what he needs to become, not as a passer or techniques or things like that. You throw 50 touchdown passes, there's not much more you can do. You can't throw 60. It's about him becoming a leader that can talk to a 10-year vet knowing this is only my second year as a starter, but you're a 8-year, 10-year vet at wide receiver. You just ran a route that was wrong. And to be able to go up to that and sort of accept and force accountability among your teammates, I think that's what Andy Reid wants him to become. I know it's quarterbacks like Vic has played with that they demand accountability and they lead that way.
It's almost to the point where Tom Brady is now, right? When you play with Tom Brady, there's a certain level of play that you have to raise your game to. If you're a free agent or a rookie going in to play with Tom, you know what's expected of you before anyone even says anything. And I think that's what Patrick Mahomes is trying to get at. I think that's the level he's trying to reach. And I think he's set a phenomenal foundation for himself. But earning that leadership and earning that ability to talk to those older guys, he can only do that by earning it on the football field and earning it in the practice room.
And over the course of time, he earns that. So other players along the offense and other players on the defensive side of the ball realizing, Wendy, he's learning still to be a leader. So I need to be that leader that he can watch to and set an example for him how he can become a proper leader.
Well, I also thought it was interesting, and we've said this before, the Chiefs were well aware of what they had. They knew what Patrick Mahomes was going to be, but yet they had him learn under Alex Smith, and they had him take last year to develop. And I got to tell you, and you heard what he said about what Alex Smith did and working with Andy Reid, I think it was the right call. I mean, clearly the results say they did the right thing.
Exactly. The results say that, yes, and I think the humility he shows in saying how this is a quarterback that, of course, probably wants to play, wants to use that talented golden arm he has, but deferring to Alex Smith, talking about becoming pro, it shows a lot of humility.
And it shows a ton about his character. Just being here after a tough loss like that and representing not only the Kansas City Chiefs, but himself is a huge testament to the type of guy he is.
And I think being here in this setting, because you're here with a bunch of all pros and a bunch of Pro Bowlers and seeing how
you can learn things from them too.
Yes, and how he settles in and sees how, all right, this is how Luck does it. This is how Watson does it. How are they making relationships with other players? Are they the big man still here? And can I be that guy too? This is a learning experience for him.
Well, good for him. You got to tip your cap not only for the season he had, but after taking that loss on Sunday in overtime the way they did, and then getting on a plane to come down here just 48 hours later. Good for him.
Yeah.
And good for the Kansas City Chiefs. They are in very good hands. We talked about Andy Reid. He's among those coaches, perhaps Coach of the Year. He had his team an overtime loss away from a Super Bowl, opportunity to play for a Super Bowl. So we will talk about our Coach of the Year candidates coming up. It's award season. They'll be handed out next week.